Walters Sports Bar is available for private events. Visit waltersdc.com/private events for more information.
Orejón comes set. Checks on Winker, fires home. Swing a line drive left field, base hit. This game is tied. Abrams scores, Meneses does it again. Winker holds at second. Meneses, who delivered the winning run yesterday in Colorado, has driven in all 3 Nationals runs tonight. It's Joey Meneses 3 and the Padres 3. Senzel, whose alma mater won the College World Series tonight, would love to cap off his night with a big hit here. Give Harvey some separation for the last of the 10th. 3-2 pitch. Swing a long drive left center field for Senzel. Back it goes to the wall. It is gone. Nationals lead 6-3. Harvey delivers. Swing a line drive, base hit center field. Cronenworth scores. Solano rounding third. He'll score. The throw into second, and this is a 1-run game. Everybody on their feet here at Petco. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Harvey sets and fires. Swing and it's poked in the air, deep right center field. Thomas going back on the run. He can't get it. The ball bounces over the wall for a double, and the Padres win the ball game. 7-6 is the final. They mobbed Profar. He never reached second base as he bounced it over the fence. Just out of the reach of Thomas. The Padres score 4 times and win the ball game in dramatic fashion.
And welcome to Nats Chat for Tuesday, June 25th, 2024. I'm Al Galdi, host of the Al Galdi podcast. Mark Zuckerman is off for this installment of the podcast. But as we tape this well past 1 a.m. on Tuesday morning, I am joined by the boss of the podcast and the new father, Tim Shovers. Tim, I'm not sure what's worse for your sleep, doing this podcast or having a newborn. Neither is particularly good, but it is good to be with you, man. And it would be better if we were talking about a Nats win. But, man, we do have quite the game to discuss. A 7-6, 10-inning loss at the San Diego Padres late night on Monday night in Game 1 of a big 3-game series for the Nats. This was a game in which the Nats overcame a 3-0 third-inning deficit, but this also was a game in which the Nats blew a 6-3 10th-inning lead. The swings of emotions in this game were quite a few, and the Nats and the Padres late night on Monday night in that 10th inning combined to score 7 runs. It felt like the Nats were going to win, and then they ended up not winning. That was some game.
If you're listening to this and you have a little bit of a pit in your stomach and you're unfamiliar with this feeling, well, Nats fans, it's been a few years, but this is what a gut punch loss feels like when there's actual consequences to it, not just a loss that piles up in a meaningless rebuilding season. This win would have put them back at 500, would have gotten off to a good foot for the series in San Diego. Instead, they blow the lead in the 10th inning. One of the worst losses they've had in years since they were in San Diego, I would say, with Max Scherzer when he gave up a grand slam in early July of 2021. This is a bit unfamiliar territory for Nats Chat listeners because this is a loss that actually matters.
Yeah, and it's nice to have meaningful games for sure. You wish they didn't quite play out the way this one played out. I mean, we talk about the standings, and we've had some fun with this in recent days. These are meaningful games. Now, it is still early in the season relative to talking about the postseason. But yeah, the Nats are part of a very jumbled wild card mess in the National League. The Nats, for this regular season, now 38-40, now are tied with the Arizona Diamondbacks and New York Mets as being 1.5 games behind the Padres for the National League's third and final wild card spot. So where to start with this game? Well, I guess we should start with how the game ended. The Nats scored 3 runs in the top of the 10th. It felt like the game was over 6-3 going into the bottom of the 10th. But reliever Hunter Harvey, he in the bottom of the 10th allowed 4 runs, 3 earned, and got 2 outs. He gave up 2 doubles and a single and issued 2 walks, one of which was intentional. Harvey gave up a leadoff double by Donovan Solano to deep left field on a 1-2 pitch. Harvey then gave up a 2-run single by Jackson Merrill to center field to cut the Nats' lead to 6-5. Harvey then issued a 5-pitch walk of Ha-Sung Kim, and Harvey gave up a walk-off 2-out two-run ground rule double by Jurickson Profar to right center field, despite having had him down in the count at 1.02. Second time in 3 games that one of the Nats' top relievers blows a game. Closer Kyle Finnegan in the Nats' 8-7 walk-off loss at the Colorado Rockies this past Saturday night, right? Bottom of the ninth, allowed 2 runs, faced 5 batters, recorded no outs. What was odd/interesting/comical about what happened in the Harvey Profar confrontation was that Harvey had Profar jumping all over the place. Harvey was throwing his usual, fire. He was not throwing that inside, but twice Jurickson Profar either fell down or flinched in fearing the pitch coming too far inside. So it looked like Harvey was in Profar's mind. Profar seemed to be behind every Harvey pitch, and then somehow, some way, Profar ended up providing that walk-off 2-run ground rule double. It was stunning, not just in the bigger picture of the game, but in the micro picture of that at-bat, because Harvey seemed to have Profar. He had him down 0-2, but it was Profar who emerged victorious in that confrontation.
The Nats just couldn't get that final out. I almost said 27th out, but it was the 10th inning, so that wouldn't have been the case. It was an evening out. You talk about how it looked early on like the Nats were going to get the win because Harvey had Profar on skates, but it was a night where the little bounces just didn't go the Nats' way as well. They couldn't get that one extra bounce that would have led to a victory, and that final Profar at bat was a microcosm of that.
Abrams and Winker run. The pitch is swung on and blasted to deep left center field. Merrill back on the go, reaches, can't get it, but it bounces over the wall. That's going to cost the Nationals a run.
It's funny, too, because the Nats bullpen prior to Harvey's appearance in this game was really good. Derek Law tossed 1 2/3 perfect innings. He tossed a perfect bottom of the 8th on just 8 pitches, and he retired the first 2 batters in the bottom of the 9th. And Robert Garcia faced 1 batter and got 1 out, which was a big out, a swinging strikeout of the Padres' number 4 batter, Jake Cronenworth, to end the bottom of the 9th. One of the storylines I thought that we would have to discuss was the Nats bullpen being good in this game, and it was good until Harvey's rough outing. The Nats offense in this 7-6, 10-inning loss at the Padres late night on Monday night was good. The Nats did hit well in this game. 6 runs, 11 hits, which were a home run, 5 doubles and 5 singles, 2 walks, 6 for 17 with runners in scoring position. Nick Senzel in this game had maybe the plate appearance of the Nats season so far. He is the Nats starting third baseman and number 7 batter. Only went 1 for 5 in this game, but the one was a big one. A 2-run home run. Nick Senzel in that Nats 3-run 10th, a 2-out full count, 2-run homer to left center field for a 6-3 Nats lead. The homer concluded a 10-pitch plate appearance in which Senzel had been down at 1.02. What a plate appearance by Senzel. I know it didn't give the Nats the lead, but it added cushion to the lead. It felt like it added cushion that secured the lead, secured a win. But man, that was some at-bat by Nick Senzel. So impressive.
Good night for the Tennessee Volunteers. Senzel's an alum of Tennessee. They won the College World Series for the first time. You never want to come up empty when you are in the top of the 10th in this world of a ghost runner at second base. Senzel with an excellent at-bat there. And one thing I love, talk about that home run there, Al. It was the 5th extra base hit of the evening for the Nationals. 4 doubles. It's rare that we get an opportunity to talk about that. Senzel has had a few clutch at-bats late in games this season. I think back to a late at-bat, a home run he hit in Miami during a sweep earlier in the season. And I certainly thought after the way the Nats put together that 3-run top of the 10th, that we'd be having a different podcast conversation this evening.
Well, the hit in that 3-run 10th that gave the Nats the lead came from Keibert Ruiz. He had 2 of the Nats' 5 doubles in this game. Keibert as the Nats starting catcher and number 6 batter, 2 for 5 with an RBI double and another double. Keibert in the Nats' 3-run 10th, a 2-out RBI double to right field for a 4-3 Nats lead. Also, Keibert in the top of the 2nd had a 1-out double to right field. And there were plenty of other Nats who did well offensively in this game. Joey Meneses Meneses had a very nice game. He is the Nats starting first baseman and cleanup batter, 3 for 5 with an RBI double and 2 RBI singles. Meneses in a Nats 1-run third, a 2-out RBI ground rule double off the center field warning track on a 1-2 pitch to cut the Nats deficit to 3-1. Meneses in a Nats 1-run fifth, a 2-out RBI infield single on a swinging bunt toward third base to cut the Nats deficit to 3-2. And Meneses in a Nats 1-run seventh, the 2-out first pitch RBI single to left field to tie the game at 3. And CJ Abrams had a good game. He is the Nats starting shortstop and number 1 batter, 3 for 5 with a double and 2 singles. And he went 2 for 2 on stolen bases. As the Nats in this game, a stellar 3 for 3 on stolen bases. The Nats did not make an out on the base pass via getting thrown out in an attempted steal or via trying to, say, extend a single into a double, anything like that. Abrams in an Nats 1-run third, 1-out opposite field double to the left center field gap on a 1-2 pitch. Abrams in the Nats 1-run fifth, an infield single up the middle, and he had to steal a second base. And Abrams in the Nats 1-run seventh, a 1-out single to right field on an 0-2 pitch. And he had a steal of second base. He had all of this offense in this game. How many times this season, right, have we been begging, pleading for offense? The Nats provided offense in this game and some clutch offense too.
3 hits for CJ Abrams. Always love to see that when it happens. Joey Meneses also getting 3 hits on the evening. I do want to say that Meneses is one of his better games. You look at the OPS for this season at 629. That's a bit of an eke, but he has been doing better as of late. I liked the bats, how they looked tonight against Waldron, who is a good pitcher. The Nats were able to get to him. So plenty of nights where we're mocking the offense. This is not one of those.
No, I mean, you had 2 guys each with 3 hits, Meneses and Abrams. You had Keibert Ruiz with a 2-hit evening. And you had 2 guys in Meneses and Ruiz who have had really bad seasons have good games. So not much to complain about offensively. I mean, could the Nats have scored more than 6 runs? Yeah. Like I said, 6 for 17 with runners in scoring position. But, as batting averages with runners in scoring position go, 6 for 17 is not that bad. So the offense did its part. Hunter Harvey, unfortunately, did not. He's had a good season. Monday night, not a good night. Hey guys, it's Al Galdi for Window Nation, which has another great offer for listeners of the Nats Chat podcast. Window Nation is extending its semi-annual sale, 50% off all window styles, plus 0% interest for 5 years, and an additional bonus if you schedule an appointment between now and the end of this month. Call 866-90-NATION or visit windownation.com and tell Window Nation that Al Galdi sent you. Window Nation windows are the best. Add to the look, feel, and value of your home. Every Window Nation window undergoes a 50-point inspection before the window leaves the Window Nation factory. And know that Window Nation's vinyl windows can do everything that wood or composite windows can do, and at a fraction of the cost of wood and composite windows. Take advantage of this offer for listeners of the Nats Chat podcast. 50% off all window styles plus 0% interest for 5 years, and an additional bonus if you schedule an appointment between now and the end of this month. 866-90-NATION or windownation.com. That's 866-90-NATION or windownation.com. And tell Window Nation that you want the deal that you heard about from Al Galdi on the Nats Chat podcast.
Here's the pitch. Swinging a chopper past the mound. Garcia racing and he gloves. He throws on the move and he gets his man. And Patrick Corbin gets another 1-2-3 inning. And Patrick Corbin is through 7 innings in this 3-3 game. Very fine performance after that second inning for Corbin, who allowed just 1 hit over the next 5 innings of work.
And then there is the starting pitching angle to this game. Patrick Corbin, is he pitching his way into staying in the Nats rotation? This kind of gets buried with all that happened in this game. But Patrick Corbin, late night on Monday night, was good for a 3rd consecutive start. He allowed 3 runs in 7 innings. He gave up just 5 hits, which were a double and 4 singles. He had 5 strikeouts versus no walks. He threw 97 pitches, 59 strikes versus 38 balls. Corbin, in the bottom of the second, allowed 3 runs on 4 hits. He, in his other 6 innings in this game, tossed 6 shutout innings and allowed just 1 hit. Yeah, early in the game, it looked like we were in for another bad outing for Patrick Corbin. Again, 3 runs that he allowed in the bottom of the second, but outside of that second inning, Corbin was quite good in this game. And so you take a step back. Patrick Corbin now, over his last 3 starts, 7-2 loss at the Detroit Tigers on June 13th. Corbin, 1 run in 5 1/3 innings. 3-1 win over the Arizona Diamondbacks at Nationals Park on June 19th. Corbin, 1 run in 5 innings with 7 strikeouts. And now this 7-6 10-inning loss at the Padres. Corbin, 3 runs in 7 innings. Patrick Corbin, for this regular season, 16 starts, ERA of 5.46, but lately he has pitched well. Josiah Gray, he on Tuesday is set to make what in theory should be his final minor league rehab start. He'll be pitching for the AAA Rochester Red Wings in their game against the Indianapolis Indians Tuesday evening at 6:45. The presumption has been that when Gray comes off the 15-day injured list, Patrick Corbin will be the odd man out in the rotation. He'll go to the bullpen. But Tim, as someone who has championed the cause of Patrick Corbin being moved to the bullpen, now what? And when I'm really starting to think here, and, I'm not saying that I necessarily agree with this, but I think this may well be the case. How DJ Herz does in his start for the Nats at the Padres on Wednesday could go a long way toward determining who is the odd man out in the Nats rotation once Gray is back.
Yeah, it's funny, right? We reached this point for something we've been hoping for a while. I've really been, as you said, championing this cause. We get here, and it's like, wait a second. Unfortunately, Corbin's doing that trick again. He's still, just when you think he's out, he pulls you back in. It's the same old thing. 7 innings tonight. Guy eats innings. And I hope that Herz keeps the rotation spot, because this is exactly the kind of thing where if you're, if you want to build a winner down the road, you give the young pitchers continual shots. That's how you get Mitchell Parker and Jake Irvin having the seasons that they have. So unless he blows up, I really hope that the benefit of the doubt goes to Herz in this one, and we finally do see what Corbin looks like in the bullpen, because again, he could be an actual asset down the stretch. He could be someone that could pitch a few innings out of the bullpen with a left arm. So I really, really hope that it goes to Herz.
It's an interesting discussion philosophically, because for a rebuilding team, 100% the move is you put Corbin in the bullpen and you keep the younger guy with upside, Herz, in the rotation. Corbin, veteran, expiring contract, bad these last 5 seasons. Herz has upside, and just a few outings ago gave you 6 scoreless innings with 13 strikeouts versus no walks. But we know how the Nats have been with Corbin. They've been very reluctant during this time of him being bad to do anything other than continuing to put him out there every 5 games. Like, that has been the deal. We've never come close to him being demoted to the bullpen. Rarely has there been anything in the way of like him having a start skip. We had that a few weeks ago, although the way circumstances played out, he only ended up having the start pushed back by just a few days. There is also this too. From a rebuilding perspective, you could make the argument of, hey, keep Corbin in the rotation. Maybe he can pitch his way into being a trade chip. So I suppose you could mount that horse. But, the way the Nats are and where they are in the wild card standings, I think there's still a reluctance to take Corbin out of that rotation. I think if they see him doing well as he is right now, and if Herz is just, say, so-so on Wednesday, I would put my money on them demoting Herz. I really would. I just, the way they have been with Corbin, they have never seemed to embrace the idea of taking him out of that rotation. I get part of why. They haven't had many starting pitching options, and Corbin has stayed healthy and has eaten up innings. But, man, he is giving them reason not to do what we all thought the Nats were going to do, which is yank him from that rotation. This really is something. This is one of the all-time saves when you think about it, that this guy over these last 3 starts has done what he has done, to where you now can actually make the case for not taking him out of the rotation. So we'll see. There is some pressure on DJ Herz for Game 3 of this series.
I think that you are right in that Corbin will get the rotation spot over Herz, and Herz at this time next week will be in the minor leagues unless there's other injuries in the rotation. That's my hunch. I just sort of, and maybe I'm being a bit stubborn on this, Al, but I just, in a macro sense, would hate if the rotation never outpaced Corbin at all during this rebuild for something that's going on by the end of the season over 3 years. And if Corbin stays in that top 5 all the way through, I just sort of feel like it would almost be an organizational failure at this point. So maybe it makes more sense if you go game by game and you stack it up. But overall, I would love to see that tweet that Patrick Corbin is out of the rotation. And I feel like we're so close. We're just on the cusp of that.
I would say this. If Herz does really well on Wednesday, then I think it's close enough to where you keep Herz and you demote Corbin. But we'll see. There's what we want, and then there's what we think the team will do. I'm with you. I want Herz to stay in the rotation, but I don't get the sense that that's the way the Nats would lean off Corbin having done what he just did, and if Herz struggles on Wednesday. But like I said, if Herz does well on Wednesday, then that could, in fact, get us what we want. We shall see. But I commend Corbin for having this nice run. Did a good job in this game on Monday night and certainly pitched well enough for the Nats to win.
Hi Nats fans, this is Tim Newmark, DC area composer, longtime Nationals fan, and proud composer of the Nats Chat podcast theme song. If you're enjoying the music and would like to hear more, check out timnewmark.com/streaming or just search for Tim Newmark wherever you listen to music. To find the rest of the song you're hearing now, search for the title Double in the Sun. Go Nats!
Winker creeping out to his lead. 0-1 pitch. Swing a line drive right side. That's a base hit down the line, headed toward the corner. Winker will score. Ruiz lumbers towards second. He is in there sliding with a double, and the Nationals have the lead here in extra innings, 4-3. Ruiz with his second double of the game, RBI 19, and with 2 outs, he delivers a huge RBI double.
There was some Nats news on Monday afternoon. They announced that they had selected the contract of outfielder Harold Ramirez from AAA Rochester, and that the team had optioned infielder Trey Lipscomb to Rochester. So Ramirez did not start on Monday night, but he is now on the Major League roster. It was on June 15th that the Nats announced having agreed to terms on a minor league contract with Ramirez. The Tampa Bay Rays on June 7th designated Ramirez for assignment, and then on June 13th released Ramirez. I've talked about the Lipscomb thing. I don't like how his season has gone. I don't like how he has been promoted to the majors and then demoted back to the minors now 3 different times this season. This is not how you properly develop someone who you at least had reasonable hopes for here. I mean, I know he's not, a top 100 prospect, but he is someone who coming into the regular season was talked about as a real promising guy for the Nats. We did do this with Luis Garcia Jr. a few years ago where he got promoted and demoted a bunch, and now he is a mainstay at the major league level. So I wouldn't say that this means that the Nats have given up on Lipscomb or that he has no chance of ever being a regular on the major league roster. But I think this does tell us a lot about how the Nats feel about Lipscomb right now. They don't think that he's someone worthy of being at the major league level consistently right now. And the Nats, at least right now, are willing to sacrifice at least some of his development for the sake of being better at the major league level. Because again, this guy has been up and down now 3 different times this season. And that doesn't do him good at all in terms of his development, I don't think.
They're treating him like he's Wilmer Defoe, but he's not Wilmer Defoe. He's supposed to be one of the cogs for the future. I'm getting increasingly confused as to what the organizational plans are with Lipscomb long-term. I don't like the yanking up and down like you said. However, though, at least he's the one guy that's broken through and has gotten to the big leagues so far, because I know there's been injuries here, but I did not expect that no one else would have been called up basically by late June, which is where we're at. So getting increasingly impatient with James Wood, for instance. So I do like at least that Lipscomb has made the trips to Washington. But yeah, it's not a great sign, and I really want to pay attention to, after this stint, where he fits in the lineup in Rochester. Are they ever going to pick a position for him, or is this who he's going to be? He's going to be utility Swiss Army knife, and that's what his career is.
I mean, some of this you could say is on him. He has not hit much at the major league level, and that is true. But he has not played with any real frequency, certainly in these latest stints at the major league level. So I don't know how you're supposed to hit consistently when you're not consistently playing. He has played well defensively, but man, it is wild. You look at the dates of these major league stints this regular season, March 30th to April 15th, April 24th to May 17th, and now June 12th to June 24th. I mean, again, it is up and down, being yo-yoed between Rochester and the major league level. And, we're not even at the All-Star break, and he has already had 3 instances of being promoted and then being demoted. How many times since the Nats came to D.C. has this happened with anybody, where 3 times before the All-Star break, the guy has been promoted and demoted AAA to the major league level? All right, well, Monday night was wild, a very unfortunate ending. Every Nats game is close. Every Nats game goes down to the wire. It's amazing how this season is going. So few of these Nats games are truly decided by, say, the 7th inning. It's a credit to the team in that it is better, but obviously you do want to see more of these games result in wins. We'll see what happens. Game 2 at the Padres, Tuesday night, 9:40. The good news is that the former Padre, Mackenzie Gore, will be the Nats starting pitcher, and we know how well he has done this season. So in theory, that should be a game that once again should be winnable for the Nats. You tell us what you think. Hit us up on X at Nats_chat. You can email the show, natschatpodcast@gmail.com. You can check us out on our website, natschatpodcast.com. All Nationals radio highlights on Nats Chat are courtesy of 106.7 The Fan. For Tim Shovers, I'm Al Galdi. We thank you for listening, and we'll talk to you next time on the Nats Chat Podcast.